Mom's voice on the phone trembled like she was holding back tears. "Family meeting tomorrow. Everyone will be there. We need to talk." I almost laughed. Now she wanted to talk. Not when I invited them to my wedding, not when the RSVP came back empty. But after the Porsche photo hit Instagram, after the caption "Hard work pays off" started making rounds, suddenly I was worth a phone call. So I said yes. Of course I did, because this time I'd be the one choosing the topic. I used to think silence meant peace. At home, it meant hierarchy. Dad spoke, Mom followed, and I existed. Invisible until they needed something to brag about. When I got into college, Dad called it luck. When I started my business, he called it a hobby. When I got engaged, he said, "Don't rush, she's not from our kind of family." And when I sent them the wedding invitation, they didn't even bother to reply. I waited, a week, then 2, until I finally understood that some absences are deliberate. They didn't approve of my wife. Her background, her accent, her independence, all the things I admired, they despised. So they chose pride over presence. And I got married without them. The night before the wedding, Mom texted me one line. "Someday you'll regret this." I did, but not the marriage. The illusion that they'd ever stand by me. 3 years later, the company exploded. Clients doubled, revenue tripled. I bought the Porsche because I could. Not to flaunt, but to remind myself I made it without them. When the post went viral, Mom must have seen it through one of her bridge club friends. That's how it always went. She cared about how things looked, not how they felt. So when she said family meeting, I knew this wasn't about reconciliation. It was about relevance. The next day, I parked the Porsche in their driveway, right next to Dad's old Mercedes. His expression when he saw it? Priceless. Jealousy, poorly disguised as approval. "Wow," he said. "Business must be good." "It's decent," I replied. Then I smiled, just enough to unsettle him. Mom came out, wearing pearls and tension. The dining table was set, 3 plates, like the old days. But I wasn't that version of their son anymore. We sat. They danced around the topic, pretending it was small talk. "How's your wife?" "Perfect." "Still working?" "She owns a design firm now." Their smiles tightened. Dad cleared his throat. "We've been thinking," he said, glancing at Mom. "Families should stay close. We want to be part of your life again." Part of my life? Not my pain, not my struggle. My life, now that it looked successful? Mom added softly, "You know, we're not getting younger. Maybe, if we supported you more, we could rebuild?" That's when I interrupted, calmly. "I know why you called me." Silence. Even the ticking clock seemed embarrassed. I reached into my bag and placed a stack of papers on the table. Thick, crisp, heavy. "What's that?" Dad asked. "Documents," I said. "Remember when I left? You made me sign away my share of the family property. Said it was for my own good, since I was marrying beneath my class." His face stiffened. I continued, "Well, turns out your lawyer forgot to update the title. You transferred the house, but not the land." Mom blinked. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying this house, where you sit right now, technically belongs to me." Dad's chair creaked. Mom's hand covered her mouth. I stayed silent long enough for the truth to sink in. "Relax," I said finally. "I'm not kicking you out. I just came to return what you gave me." I pushed the papers toward them. A new deed. Signed. Transferred. To them. Dad's eyes watered for the first time in years. "Why would you do that?" I looked him dead in the eye. "To prove I don't need to take revenge to win. You already taught me how to lose everything that matters." I stood up, walked toward the door. Mom whispered, "You really changed." I turned back, meeting her gaze with calm precision. "No, Mom. I just stopped asking for love from people who sell it." Then I left. No raised voices, no closure dinner. Just the echo of their silence following me out to the driveway. As I started the engine, the reflection of the house shimmered on the hood. Once, that house was everything I wanted. Their approval, their pride, their acceptance. Now, it was just real estate. The Porsche hummed like it understood, and for the first time, I didn't look back. I wasn't driving away from my parents. I was driving toward peace.